I want to talk to you today about something that you might have already been thinking about. How do you turn stem cells into other cells?
And who are you?
Oh, I'm Thomas. I'm a PhD with the PersonalizeAF network, and I'm working on exactly how to turn stem cells into heart cells. Let's go. Alright, so let's jump right into it, and I'll try to explain as easy as possible how you get from stem cells into other cells. So of course, first thing you need is stem cells. A good old bag of classic stem cells. Metaphorically, of course. And as some of you might know already, is that stem cells are kind of predecessor cells in our body. They are the cells that can turn into any other cells. And we kind of want to emulate that here in the lab by turning them into heart cells. So what you usually do is when you work with cells, you want to have a clean and sterile environment so your cells don't get in contact with dirt or bacteria. So that's why today we'll do this on an office desk. So let's get into it, right? What you need for stem cells, first off, is a place where they can hang out, grow, and prosper. And that's going to be a flask or a dish, any sort of cultureware. So this is pretty much a sterile material that you put your cells in, and then there they can grow and prosper. So let's give these guys a home. Some cell loss is normal. Alright, so now we got our cells in a flask. I hope you can still follow this explanation maze. Right, so what we don't want our cells to be is dry and hungry. But right now they're hanging out here in that flask by themselves without anything to feed on. So what we want to give them is cell food, or as the professionals call it, medium. This is pretty much everything that cells need to live and prosper. Water, salts, amino acids, proteins, things for their metabolism like lipids or, for example, glucose, and a bunch of other really good stuff for them. So let's give these guys some medium. Don't want to overfeed them. Perfect. So now our cells have a place to stay, food to live on, so everything they need to grow and stay the way they are. But that's not what we want, right? We want them to become something else. So for that, they need something that causes them to differentiate. And usually how that works in our normal bodies is that cells produce factors that tell each other which cell they should become. And a lot of smart scientists figured out how to make these factors in the lab, not by reproducing these proteins, but by making small molecules. And these small molecules are kind of like artificial sweetener to sugar. They're still sweet, but they're not actually the same molecule, but they're easier to produce, for example. So what we want is have that small molecule that causes them to differentiate into a heart cell. And with this, it really all depends on concentrations and time points, and it's a quite difficult thing. So it is really amazing that they figured it out. Let's give them just a little bit so they know what cell to become. Perfect. So now all we need to do is put them somewhere warm and cozy and wait a little. You doing anything after this? Oh. Right, perfect. And there we are. Differentiated cells. Sugar or salt? If you enjoyed this and want to learn more, for example, about how these cells can be used to help us understand diseases like atrial fibrillation, then check out PersonalizeAF.net, the website of our network. We can show you some other PhDs also working on this topic and get a bit of more insight in what sort of research we're doing. Thanks. Wait, I come back again. I want to talk to you.
And who are you? Sorry. Sorry.
Honey, I popped the cells. Butter? More like...